This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the New Orleans Investment Conference 2016. I have with me Carlos Vicens of Neo Lithium. It's a publicly traded company and the symbol is NLC on the TSX Venture. Carlos, welcome to SNNLive.
Thanks for having me here, Shelley. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
What I'd like to start out with is an overview on Neo Lithium.
Sure, well thanks. So Neo Lithium is a newly discovered lithium brine in the Lithium Triangle in Argentina. When I say new, it's very new. Our founders discovered this property in December of last year. Through December last year to today, we've been able to do sampling work. We've been able to raise 18 million Canadian of funds. We're putting all the money back into the project. We've winterized the road. We're building the camp. We're building an evaporation pond, a lab. And we've obviously going to continue on with putting the money back into the project, and we're expecting to be drilling next month, which is something very important for us to demonstrate that we have enough resources to go forward.
What's the size of the deposit, firstly?
Well, that's a very hard question because of the fact that we can't really say that the size. What we can tell you is this. The deposit seems to have very unique characteristics that no other deposit in the world has. To give you an example, at the north side, the north part, we call it the northern target, we have a reservoir. When I say a reservoir, it's a lake of brine lithium. This brine lithium lake has one of the highest grades of any other, well, it has the highest grade in Argentina, for sure, in terms of milligrams per liter of lithium, and it's one of the highest in the region in comparison to the Chilean ones. And also, what we do have in the northern target is very low impurities, which are very important for the brine discovery. So the combination of high grade and low impurities is what makes this project unique. In terms of size, we can't really say anything until we prove up the resource, but we intend to do that in the next 2 or 3 months.
You don't stumble on resources like this unless you stumble on resources like this. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, I've heard it both ways. I mean, people knew they were there and they went and found them, or they didn't know they were there and they went looking and they found something.
Well, we have one of the best exploration crews, and maybe a lot of companies say this, but Waldo Perez, who is our CEO, he lives in Argentina. He's walked, I believe, the entire Argentinian landscape. He looked at this project about 10 years ago, I believe, but he looked at it on the south, and in the south he got lower grades, high impurities, and when we tested that, he said, well, this is not going to be the best that project that we can obviously go forward with. So when he looked at it this time, he was in the north part of the project. The north part of the project is where we find this lithium reservoir that I just mentioned. That's high grade, low impurities, and when he stumbled upon it, literally stumbled upon it, we couldn't believe what he was saying until we essentially proved it. We did 255 samples. We sent it in to a third-party validator, and that's the story. It's as simple as that, really. And as you say, it's very hard to find these properties like that. But in this case, we did. It's a new discovery. It's not a rehash of an old project. So we think we have the real thing here.
And is that where the name Neo Lithium comes from?
That's right. It's Neo meaning new, and also because we also have a chairman, Konstantin Karyanopoulos, who joined us as a chairman, and he had a company. He was the ex-chairman of MicroCap, and MicroCap, he sold his old company called Neo Materials to MicroCap. So the combination of Neo for new and Neo Materials made this company be named Neo Lithium.
Why lithium?
Well, lithium right now is one of the best performance commodities in the market. There's no question. I mean, with all the hype in terms of Tesla coming in and all the Europeans and China's industry going and growing so much, essentially twofold or threefold over the last year or so, we weren't essentially looking for lithium when we stumbled upon this. However, our CEO, Waldo Perez, was the founder and CEO of Lithium America, so he knows a little bit about lithium. In fact, he's one of the most knowledgeable lithium brine developers, explorers in the world, if not the best. So when we stumbled upon this, he knew what he was looking at. And he definitely moved forward with it. But we weren't essentially looking for a lithium project. He's obviously worked in gold, copper, and all kinds of other bigger explorers, and companies like Barrick. But we stumbled upon a very good project, and lo and behold, it was lithium, and we know about lithium. So it was something that just literally got handed to us in the hand here, and we're running with it for sure.
I remember back in the day, years ago, when the first lithium companies came in and no one was sure of lithium,
Yeah.
no one even knew where it was going to be used, and they were talking about these things called battery-operated cars, and energy saving, and now it's almost matured to a point where it's a matter of like almost every car is going to be energy efficient. Tell me about lithium, the pricing, and potential size of the market.
Well, I mean, there's different views in terms of where this new EV or electrical vehicle is going to go. There's different types of electrical vehicles. You got the plug-ins, you got the hybrids, and you got the full electrical vehicles. The combination of those three, we will never know. For us as a lithium explorer and potentially a producer, we would love it all to be electrical vehicles because that's where the majority of lithium goes to. But I think it's going to be a combination of the three. Now, how big this market's going to be? Well, there's obviously the bull and the bear here, and you can see that at the low end, there's about 300 tons, 350,000 tons in 2025, which is essentially doubling what we have today, about 175, 180,000 tons. Or there's the bull guys are talking about 800, even to 1 million tons in 2025. So there's a big discrepancy. Even if we're at somewhere in the middle, the 500,000 ton per annum at year 2025, that means that there's a lot of projects that need to come into market. And that's when you talk about pricing. Well, what's the pricing going to be at the time? It would all depend on how many projects are producing. Right now, the pricing in terms of long-term agreements are around the $10,000 range, $10,000 per ton. But in China last year or this year, beginning of this year, we were talking about $25,000 per ton because it was a deficit in the Chinese market and the spot market. Is that going to continue? No, I don't think so, because there's some capacity coming in the Australian market with spodumene that are going to essentially supply the Chinese market. But that's not going to continue. That supply is there. What's going to happen next? Well, our project and other projects in the region, in Argentina and Chile, will have to come online. If there's any issues there in terms of the way they're ramping up or any other issues in terms of if they can get permits and so forth, then you're in deficit again. So the pricing can go up. In my own opinion, the price is going to be stable around the 10,000 for the foreseeable future, but we don't know where it's going to be in 5 or 10 years. Hopefully, higher the better, yes. But then you need to look into what the cost profile is for each of the projects.
What's your background?
My background, well, I'm a corporate development. I worked in corporate development in the U.S. for many years in the energy side. And after that, I went to Canada and did my MBA and started working in investment banking. So I've been working in the banking system for about 8 years. And the last couple of years, I've been in corporate mining. So a little bit of everything. But I think it bodes well for the team because my language skills in the capital markets side in Canada help the team that is local in Argentina, which is another important thing. All our operating team is in Argentina, which makes it even more important.
Carlos, let's give your website out to our investor audience for more information, if you would.
Sure, thank you. So our website is neolithium.ca, and we're listed in Toronto Stock Exchange Ventures under the signal NLC.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Vicens, Neo Lithium, publicly traded company, and the symbol is NLC on the TSX-V. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the New Orleans Investment Conference 2016. Carlos, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Shelley.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.